Hey, this is Steve Scrilacci, and today we are going to be demoing a new pedal from Nordland Electronics. This is the ODR-C from Nordland Electronics. So for those of you that don't know Nordland Electronics or haven't heard of them yet, they're fairly new to the market, but the man who designed this pedal, Kai Tachibana, he is a genius of a wizard when it comes to pedal making. He actually designed the original ODR-1 that came out in the early 90s that you've seen on countless player session boards, and really one of the most well-renowned overdrives that you could get right now. The vintage ones are going for like $350 and up. I have one personally, and it's been my favorite overdrive since I got it. But he hasn't worked for them for a fairly long time, and he decided that it's time to branch out and start his own company. So he designed the ODR-C, which is an updated modern version of the ODR-1, but it's also got a couple of different features. So it's got the same drive level spectrum knobs that your normal ODR-1 are going to have, but it also has this ODC knob. It also has a low cut, and it's got a mid knob. If you're not a fan of having a mid knob, it's actually notched so that it could lock into place where it's flat. So that I really like. The spectrum knob also has that little lock in place. And these little guys here, when they're in the fully down position, that's when they're bypassed. So the low cut, self-explanatory, is a low cut. And the ODC, so this is really cool. You guys are really going to like this. This is probably my favorite part of the pedal and what separates it from other ones in my opinion. This ODC is basically a compression lift. So as you gain up the pedal, it starts to like get really muddy and starts flapping and collapsing on itself and gets overly compressed. This lifts that compression up. This was like such a cool thing for me. This is the first pedal that I've had that can do that, where the more gain you add, so when you jack up that gain and it gets starting to sound like it's collapsing on itself, you could actually dial that compression and lift it off of your sound. So it really allows you to have clarity and really nice brightness into your overdriven sounds. And I think that's a really useful feature that you're going to hear later. It's supposed to be a natural sounding pedal, right? So it just takes the sound of your amp and just makes it sound overdriven. So it's meant to retain the sound of your amp just to take it into an overdriven stage. So let's hear what it sounds like. Let's put all the knobs at noon. The low cut and the ODC are off right now. So here's my clean tone. I'm going through my HX Stomp, and this is one of my boutique presets that I have up on the Line 6 Marketplace. All right, so we're going to stick with the Tele bridge pickup because all the knobs at noon and the custom knobs are off. This is your regular natural overdrive. Just the best. I feel like this is just, even with all the knobs at 12, this is just like exactly what you want in a natural overdrive that just retains the sound of your amp. Really transparent, really nice. So let's mess around with some of the gain settings. Let's go with the lower gain setting first. A little bit less gain, a little more volume. So perfect, really nice low gain sound. I'm going to go into the second position. This is coil split and the bridge pickup on the Tele. It just adds that perfect layer of grit to your signal that I'm just obsessed with. So right there, I don't think that you need any of the custom knobs. I think the low end is nice. Let's go to the neck humbucker. So the neck humbucker can tend to get a little bit muddy in comparison to the bridge pickup. So a guitar like this, you really got to be careful with the high end and the low end because of the bridge pickup on the Tele. So normally this would become a muddy sounding pickup in comparison. It's really well balanced, but it would be a little bit on the muddier side. It sounds great as is, just like that. So say you do want a little bit less low end in there. We're going to take this low cut up to noon. And it just kind of takes it to a whole nother level. It almost makes it like a single coil, like that really nice PAF, like bright humbucker sound that's going to just really be nice for a lead track, or to, you know, stick out if you're playing a riff or you really want to cut through the mix. Just getting out some of that flubbiness is really, really useful. I just get stuck getting rid of this. I just love now the humbucker sound with that low end cut out. This is such a good low drive setting. So now let's go the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's get some higher gain stuff. Let's take the low cut off for now. So let's see where we're at gain wise. Now we got a little bit more gain, a little bit more juice and hair. So it's a nice bit of gain. It's not distortion. It's just a nice gained up amp sound. And it's really, really responsive to your playing. So while we got this gain jacked up here, let's mess with the mid knob and see what this thing could do. So this will probably take it into like a tube screamer type of territory. If we turn this up, let's get a little bit more mids now. Let's go now the other end and scoop out some mids. I really like this with more gainy amps. It gives you that like broken up Fender sound. I like having the mids being able to get scooped out like that. So now that we got the gain up a little bit, I'm going to take this back to center with the mid knob. Now let's talk about this ODC knob. This ODC knob is going to lift some of that compression off. You're going to be able to hear what it does. Let's just get right into it. So we got our more gainy sound. I'm going to go to the bridge pickup with the gain jacked up a little bit. And I'm just going to let it ring, and we're going to hear what this knob does. So you hear what it does to the sound. It lifts that compression off and it makes it not as squashy and not as compressed. it's not as mushy of a sound. It allows a lot more clarity to come through. So it's like an openness. Like when you're playing with a higher gain, you get this open, clear, awesome sound. So this is about where I would keep it for the bridge pickup, and let's just hear what this sounds like again. And this is more of a feel thing, I guess, too. I'm curious to hear myself what this is going to sound like on the recording, but there's definitely a feel aspect that really comes to life. Like it's like the notes jump out at you when you play them when this compression is lifted. Let's go to the neck humbucker. Now when I go to the bridge pickup, I'm going to put that low cut back off. So it just gives you this really nice clarity to the notes that I'm really, really enjoying. So what else can we talk about in here? Let's go back to like a regular normal setting that I would probably have dialed in. I'm going to lift some of the compression off. No low cut. If I just have my Telly bridge pickup on, let's mess with the spectrum knob, see what that's going to do. Gains a little bit past noon so I could still get some clarity and some clean. But if I dig in, I'll get more hair on it. So let's mess with the spectrum knob, see what that's going to do to our tone. So you can kind of hear it's more like a mid shift than it is a treble knob. It's definitely not a treble knob because it doesn't really get harsh, but you definitely hear, I guess it's like a filtering effect or something in the mids when you turn that up more. So thank you guys for checking out the ODR-C from Nordland Electronics. I hope you guys check out the links below and you'll see the website and where you can find out where you can get one for yourself. If you have any questions on the product, please shoot me a text down below in the comments, and I would love to get back to you guys. I love talking about this stuff, so please reach out and let me know if you have any questions or if you want to know anything more about the pedal.